Hello everyone. I know it's been a long time since I've uploaded anything, and I apologize. Life's been super busy, and so I'm going to slap together this quick film for you just to show you an example of one of the things I've been doing. This is a fairly big project. It came about very unexpected back in January. This vehicle behind me here, this used to be my wife's daily driver. This is a 2013 Dodge Journey that she loved, and we only had it a couple of years, and she was driving it and she told me one day, hey, it's making a noise. And so I was rather impressed, because usually it's been making noise for a month, and you know, that's what a lot of guys complain about. But she came to me and said, I can hear this noise in the engine. The funny thing was, I couldn't hear it. And we've all heard these stories. You take it to the mechanic and they never hear it. But after a couple more weeks, she said, you're going to hear it now. And sure enough, I could hear it, and it sounded terrible. It was kind of a rattle. And these 3.6 liter engines do have occasionally a problem with rockers going bad. And I tore the top of the engine apart, and it was not the rockers. They were perfect. And this car has had synthetic oil since day one. She changed that oil more often than I would have. So it was babied. It was very well taken care of. And I took it to a couple of mechanics. None of them had a clue what was wrong. I kept thinking, it sounds like timing chains, but there wasn't enough mileage on it for them to say it was changed. It only had 178,000. It's all highway, not driven hard. And anyways, I was driving it home myself, and I barely got it home. I got it right in front of the driveway, and the engine totally crapped out, totally died. I could hear the chains breaking inside. So anyways, I did not have time in January to fix this car, because I wasn't going to pay someone $5,000 or $6,000 to fix it, because it wasn't worth much more than that. So I told my wife, let's go get you another car. So she bought an almost brand new car, which she loves. She's driving that now. She bought a little Cherokee. I was kind of hoping she'd go for a different brand, but that's okay. It was her decision. She loves the car. So anyways, I finally got around to looking for an engine for this. I was keeping my eye out. I wanted to hear the engine running. I wasn't going to buy a used engine from an auto wrecker sitting on a shelf. Oh yeah, we'll give you a 90-day warranty or a year or whatever. Meaningless. I've been down that road before, and this was a big job. This was a big job. Now, for anyone else that is going to do an engine swap this big, my recommendation is do it the way I did. Drop the whole subframe, transmission, suspension, steering, everything together. It's far simpler. You cannot get your hands in there to remove the engine in that car. I know a couple guys have done it, but I think this was much more straightforward. The guy I got the engine from, he didn't do it this way, and he said it was the worst engine pull he'd ever done. So highly recommend, drop the whole subframe like this. It seems like more work. It's just more bolts, and everything came out quite easily. This car isn't that old, so it wasn't all rotted and rusted. So I would do this over again. Yeah, I'm not ashamed to say. I've done this type of a swap without a hoist. I know I've got a hoist, and you guys are saying it was easy for you. Yeah, that made it simpler, but I did do a similar thing on an old Pontiac Montana van we used to have, where I dropped everything in the front end to change the transmission. So it is doable that way, and I prefer this way. Highly recommend it. These are the tools I use: basic hand tools, wrenches, sockets, and ratchets. But my favorite are these ratchet wrenches. These work great. I really like these. And flex head on it, so that That just, you can get into tight spaces, and these are my favorite wrenches. Hours wise, I don't know. I would guess 20 to 30 hours to swap the engine. It was actually more straightforward than I thought. This is one of the biggest projects I've taken on, and I have not started it yet. I just got back from town. I bought some power steering fluid, which I forgot to get for last night, because last night was supposed to be the big startup moment. So I'm about to start this engine, and I'm going to let you guys witness this. I'm curious to see if I get a check engine light, or if I hear noises, or something goes wrong. And I'll show you the old engine. It's sitting right here. And there are a lot of wires, connections and hoses and you name it. There's a lot. These newer vehicles, they put a lot of stuff in a small area. This is well over 200 horsepower, and that's a little V6. Heck, there's 4-cylinder engines that 40 years ago were, you know, about this size. So they're really cramming a lot into this small space in these cars. And there's a lot of technology as well. There are a lot more things that can go wrong with newer cars. They are very complicated. There's more chains, there's cam phasers and all kinds of crazy things going on in there, and I've changed those parts on other engines, and it's a nightmare. It's a pain in the butt. So I chose to replace the engine, and I was able to hear this engine running before I bought it. And the guy I bought it from was gracious enough to remove it from his car. It was in an accident, but it ran still, and he was parting it out, the whole car. So he let me hear it running, and it was quiet. It was excellent. So let's go give this car a try here. We'll see if it fires up. I'm only going to run it a short time because I got the garage door closed, but I just want to see if I get an engine light or any noises or anything crazy. And then I'll shut it down. I'll open the door, and maybe I'll back it out and then double check all the fluids. So let's give it a go. I need to put it in park. There we go. Okay, let me just get this camera off this tripod here. All right. It's funny it says press clutch pedal. This is not a standard, but the computer is probably very confused because it's been out of power for quite a while. Okay, let's give this a try. It'll take a while to build fuel pressure. At this point, I got really scared because every warning system possible in the car was telling me there was multiple things wrong. The all-wheel drive was failing, the traction control and ABS warnings were on, the check engine light came on, there was 6 random codes in there. Even the accelerator pedal had no effect on the engine at all. The heater was not responding, the screen didn't come up. So I shut it off and I restarted it and I cleared the codes. And then I shut it off and restarted it about 3 or 4 times. Okay, well that was a hell of a scare. Check engine light was on. Every error message this car could possibly give me was on, and the heater didn't work, the big display didn't work. And I was a little kind of like, what the heck's going on? But I just let it run and I shut it off and restarted it 2 or 3 times. Everything cleared up. Everything. I've got no check engine light. I'm about to take it for a test drive, so I guess what happened was the computer had to relearn everything. Like at first it thought this was a stick shift car. It said push in the clutch. This is an automatic, so it must have gone back to a factory state. And I couldn't even accelerate. Like I'd step on the throttle, nothing would happen. It was ignoring that. So temperature's coming up. I got 3/4 of a tank of 6-month-old gas or whatever. More than that, it's 10 months old. So let's drive this thing around the block. We'll see how it does. Okay. Let's see now. I'm going to be driving it fairly easy at first. The computer's got to relearn a lot of stuff. I can hear a bit of noise from the power steering, but that's normal because I had all that disconnected, and it's got to work all the bubbles out. I hear thumping, but I know that's the brakes. Yeah, oh yeah, I have to do the brakes. It sat so long that the brake rotors built up a bunch of rust. So probably have to do the brakes. I don't know, we'll see. It's clearing up already. Huh. Well, everything checks out just fine. The car, other than the brakes, which I will fix, is running flawless. I was so scared when all those warning lights came up. I've never seen that before when you fire up a new engine, but I guess that's how Dodge does it. They kind of start from zero, and do I have an automatic or a standard, and do I have all-wheel drive or not, and like every warning system was on, but it's totally gone. Drove it, it's totally fine. And so I want to thank all my viewers that were concerned about me because I hadn't posted anything in so long. I'm fine, just been super busy with stuff like this, and there is more content coming, so stay tuned, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time.